You know, when you look at a city's skyline like Jakarta's, you're not just seeing buildings, you're seeing a story. Today we're diving into the story of one of the main authors of that skyline, PT Total Bangun Pasada, or as you might know them on the stock exchange, Total. We're going to look at the blueprint they used to build not just skyscrapers, but a truly lasting legacy.
Every great build starts with a blueprint, and for a company, that's its vision. And this was Total's. It's a pretty ambitious goal, right? It's not just about the quality of the work, but about a reputation for integrity and excellence. So the big question is, how did they live up to this? That's what we're going to unpack.
I mean, this company has deep roots. They started way back in 1970, then restructured in 81, spending decades really perfecting their craft. But 2006, that was the real game changer. Deciding to go public wasn't just a financial move, it was the decision that would launch them into a whole new era.
All right, so to really get the full picture, here's our game plan. We've broken their story down into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with their massive IPO, then get into how they became high-rise specialists. After that, we'll look at the culture behind the concrete, understand how they run the show, and finally, check out what's next for them.
First up, that huge leap into the public market. And this was a big deal. We're not just talking about getting more cash in the bank. This was about opening the company up to a whole new world of transparency and accountability.
And wow, what a leap it was. Think about it. On July 25, 2006, 2.75 billion shares hit the Jakarta Stock Exchange. That's more than just money. That's a massive public bet on their future. And with that came a whole new level of scrutiny that the company was clearly ready for.
Okay, so now they're a public company, they've got the cash, and all eyes are on them. The pressure is definitely on. In a market this competitive, you just can't be a jack of all trades. Total knew this, and they made a really smart choice. They decided to become the go-to experts for high-quality, high-rise buildings.
So how'd they get so good at it? Well, one of their big secrets is a philosophy called lean construction. Basically, it's like the work smarter, not harder philosophy, but for a massive construction site. The whole idea is to hunt down and eliminate any kind of waste, whether that's time lost having to redo work or materials being used inefficiently. It just makes everything run smoother.
And you can literally see the results of this focus all over the skyline. I mean, look at this list. This isn't just a portfolio. It's a who's who of iconic buildings. We're talking huge integrated complexes like Central Park and Kemang Village, and really prestigious projects like the Australian Embassy and the incredible Sikas Tower. Each one is a testament to their expertise.
You know, a company isn't just built on concrete and steel. The real foundation, it's the culture and the people. So let's look past the construction sites for a minute and see what really holds Total together. So this is where things get really interesting. You've got this constant push and pull. On one hand, they're a public company, right? So they have to deliver profits for their shareholders. That's job number one. But on the other hand, they're deeply committed to being a good corporate citizen and contributing to the community. It's a tough balancing act for sure. And the thing that holds this all together is this really cool concept they call M-Total. That M is for manusia, the Indonesian word for human. And the philosophy is pretty straightforward, but super powerful. The company's long-term success is directly tied to the happiness, growth, and loyalty of its people. Simple as that. And this isn't just talk. If you look at where their CSR, or corporate social responsibility money goes, it's wow. A whopping 81% goes straight to the health and welfare of their employees and their families. That tells you that M-Total isn't just some nice-sounding slogan. It's a core part of their business strategy.
Okay, so how on earth do you manage a massive company that's juggling billion-dollar projects and also has this super human-centric culture? Well, that brings us to the nuts and bolts, the governance that makes it all work.
For any company on the stock market, something called good corporate governance, or GCG, is absolutely critical. It's basically the official rulebook for running the company fairly and openly. For Total, it's all about having a system of checks and balances to make sure everyone's interests, from the smaller shareholder all the way up to the CEO, are looked after. And a huge piece of this puzzle is their board of commissioners. But here's the key thing to notice, the independent commissioners. These folks are outsiders, right? Their only job is to keep things objective and make sure the company is being managed for all its stakeholders, not just the insiders. That accountability is so important. And look, this governance stuff isn't just a bunch of boring documents. They actually put it into practice. Take their whistleblower system, for example. It's a clear, safe way for anyone to report a problem. The company investigates it properly, and this is crucial. The person who reported it is protected.
That's how you turn a principle like integrity into a reality. All right, let's pull all these threads together and look to the future. I mean, after more than 50 years of building incredible things, what's next on the horizon for TOTL? Well, their recent performance gives us a pretty good clue. Their performance in 2022 tells us a lot. They didn't just hit their target for new contracts, they blew past it by nearly 30%. In a tough economy, that shows you just how strong and resilient their business really is. They're clearly in a commanding position. So looking ahead, it's clear they're not just resting on their laurels. They're lining up with some huge trends. First, there's green construction, which is only getting bigger. Then you've got the massive project of Indonesia's new capital city, a once-in-a-generation opportunity. And of course, they're ready to ride the wave of projected growth in office and residential buildings.
And you really get a sense of their confidence from this quote, from their own leadership. Basically, they're looking at all the development happening in the country, and they're not seeing obstacles. They're seeing a wide-open field of opportunity that they are perfectly positioned to seize.
Which really brings us full circle to the big question. They've built this incredible legacy on specialization, on culture, and on solid governance. So the challenge for them now is, how do you use that powerful foundation to build a future that's just as impressive? The foundation is solid. Now, the next chapter is just waiting to be built.